All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. It's the story that keeps on unfolding. Yes, we kind of know this headline, but I think it's now permeated out to the masses a little bit more. It's been boiled down a little bit. Rather than reading legal documents, people are reading headlines like this one. Steve Perry is making more money off Journey now than he ever did singing for them. From the Miles in the Morning show. Another corporate radio station, 98.7 K-Love. K-L-U-V? Isn't K-Love a Christian radio station? Weird. That's weird. Anyway, to have that logo, it kind of looks K-L-U-V they probably go by, but still, it's kind of poor branding. Doesn't matter, I'm sure they're still getting the zombie listeners to tune in. What's this guy? Miles in the Morning. Everybody's going to be listening to Miles in the Morning. Now, the story about Steve Perry getting a certain cut, getting a certain percentage, I talked about this like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I found out the first time, when I knew this ahead of time, and then Neil Sean actually did an interview more or less confirming it. He didn't give out exact numbers, but he said it started at a certain level, and then it drops down, and it stays at that level pretty much in perpetuity. So, yeah, Steve Perry is making lots of money. I don't know if this headline is true. I think when he sang for them, he probably made more money, but then in today's dollars versus yesterday's dollars and so forth, no question about it, it's a really good deal that he got. And people, they cannot deny whether they like Perry or not. They cannot deny the fact that he is a savvy businessman. And I think both he and Herbie Herbert are kind of cut from the same cloth, and hence the teamwork there trying to overtake the current board over there at Journey. It remains to be seen, by the way, how that's all going to pan itself out. Right now, as it stands, Journey is out there and recruiting a guitarist. I'm sorry, not a guitarist, a drummer. Well, technically a bass guitarist, but you know what I'm saying. Here's an interesting scenario, though. Just hear me out. This is just a theory. You got all these people that used to be in Journey. Kind of like all these people that used to be in Chicago. You look at all the people that are outside of Chicago right now, the band, and you think you could have a Chicago. You've got a drummer, you got a singer, you got a bass player, you got a keyboard player, a vocalist. Bill Champlin, Jason Sheff. Look at Journey. With Perry out there, you got Perry, and Perry working with anybody is a long shot at this stage of his career. But if he really wanted to kind of stick it to the other guys, there's him, there's obviously Ross Valerie and Steve Smith, and those three guys I never thought would work together again, but I never thought they would kind of team up in this situation, and they did for whatever reason. Apparently none of them really like Neil or John. That's the only thing you can speculate. That's, you just go by what you're seeing here. But you've also got Greg Raleigh, who's out there. Okay, I know he's hanging out with Ringo and so forth, but there's your band minus a lead guitarist. That's like vintage Journey minus Neil Sean, minus a lead guitar player. So if you get a big name guitarist who wants to jump on board, you would have a newfangled Journey supergroup. And I'm telling you, it would be like a moth being drawn to the light. People would be like, whoa, Journey is cool, but look what's over there. Look what's over there. Now, anything that Steve Perry is the leader of or would be the singer in would attract enormous amounts of attention, even if people weren't really hip to the new music and so forth. It would give, a giant opportunity for just people to finally hear Steve Perry singing, maybe live, or maybe just recording some new material with these guys, which again would be something fairly historic and very interesting. It's a theory. It's another one of my theories. But, from time to time, I kind of go out on a limb, and sometimes people think it's weird or I'm just, crazy as usual. But from time to time, these things tend to happen more often than not, or at least it's plausible. You got to say that. So anyway, just look out, because if these guys are feeling a little vindictive, or they want to kind of obfuscate the corporate journey with some other version of the band. I mean, Neil Schon, I thought, was going to do Journey Through Time, and I thought that was going to be a huge success. And fans are kind of hungry, I think, for something a little more organic and authentic. The corporate band is starting to sound a little bit bland, but who knows? Maybe on this tour, with the new rhythm section and maybe some extra help on vocals, the new version of Journey might be better than last year's version, but that remains to be seen. But anything that Steve Perry would be a part of would eclipse it. And again, no pun intended. It's just the way the words work out. So that's my video on this topic. Again, if you like the videos, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Also, a ton of activity over on Patreon, talking about the new Dennis DeYoung song. Actually, 2 songs got released today by Dennis. The other one with Julian Lennon, which is also a great track. And just general conversation about Steve Perry and Journey. You can join for $1 a month. You can do $2, $5, whatever you want to do. I tend to answer questions and, participate in conversations, usually every few hours. After I wake up in the morning, I typically check all of the emails and all of the notifications I got, and I try to answer everything. But yeah, Steve Perry, did he get a really good deal? Yeah, absolutely. And I knew this for quite some time. I didn't know the exact numbers. The exact numbers are actually better than I thought, because I was thinking eventually, after a certain number of years, this would go away. But the 12.5% never goes away. So that's just a really good deal. That's why when Journey does a tour, they've got to make a really good contract, because it's like they're towing another band member financially along for the ride, and that can't be a pleasant thing after they made such and such on a tour and they have to, do 12.5%. Got to give that away. So that's got to, kind of bust those guys a little bit even now, but that's what you get for kicking out the guy who made everyone a fortune to begin with. All right, I'm done, and I'll be back very soon. Stay tuned.